Yo, 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 grateful for another maggot-free day above the dirt. All right, this Dharma talk is about renunciation. And when we talk about renunciation, a lot of times in spiritual practice, you'll hear simply the desire to renounce. The wish of renunciation will weaken our harmful conditioning. And while this is true to some extent, renunciation, albeit reactive, is an action that has to be carried out. So my personal opinion is to not act out on something that we wish to renounce simply because the opportunity's not there, the opportunity's not present for us to do so, is not actually an act of renunciation. An act of renunciation is when we have been triggered to, and we start thinking about doing something, and we start the actions of doing something that we know is unhealthy and unwholesome, and we stop ourselves. We renounce it. We break attachment to the thought process and to the behavior that has started. So the opportunity was there, the process has started, we stop the process, we do weaken our harmful conditioning. But this is reactive, and it's only one side of the renunciation practice. So rather than just being reactive and breaking attachment when we're attached to harmful thinking and behavior, we need to be proactive. And don't get me wrong, sometimes when we break attachment, it's in the first moment of the process. Sometimes it's minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, even years later. So anytime we break attachment and we renounce a certain harmful thinking, and or behavior, it's a positive, beneficial thing to our practice. But to be proactive means that we're going to live differently in a new, healthy and wholesome way where we don't find ourselves in situations that trigger us and give us opportunity. And this is not aversion. We're not avoiding it. We are living our lives in a different way that it's not enticing to us any longer. It's not attractive like it was because we are creating new, healthy, and wholesome ways of thinking, and in turn, new, healthy, and wholesome behaviors. So it's not as much as an option in the way we're living our daily lives. It's not nearly as much of a consideration. That said, we're human beings. We have desire, and so we're not always going to be living free from the desire of it and free from the opportunity to pursue that desire. But living a new, healthy, wholesome way lets us face these opportunities, face the triggers, and handle them differently so that we don't attach simply because we are facing the opportunity, facing the trigger. We're creating, through being proactive with new, healthy, wholesome thinking and behavior, the ability to have a new discipline, which turns into a new, healthy, wholesome response. So much of renunciation is of course about breaking the attachment when we're attached, but it's so much more of creating a new consciousness that isn't susceptible to the triggers. Now, I'm not going to go and say this is a permanent state of being where we're never susceptible. We'll always be susceptible into some degree. But the more we're able to be proactive and create a life and a way of thinking and a consciousness that isn't easily attacked or easily seduced or triggered, the easier it gets to not be, so we can have more experiences that not only get easier, but they're sustainable for much longer periods of time. And this is why it can be so overwhelming to us, where we're not acting out in a way we used to, maybe for years, and suddenly we do. And it could be overwhelming because to do what we consider doing so well in practice, and then suddenly we just bottom out, and it's discouraging, it's defeating. But the important thing is to realize that as much as we create new, helpful, wholesome thinking, the old neural pathways are still there, and we never know when they're going to be activated. So we can't make this a personal failure. We can't get disparage ourselves. We can't let the false ego take over. We're just trying to do our best, and sometimes our best is we're not even susceptible, not even vulnerable to anything that's unhealthy and unwholesome. And there's sometimes that, our practice is going to be that reactive, I'm attached, I'm triggered, I want to do something. No, stop. So the mindfulness, the concentration, the effort is extremely important here. The mental discipline practice of especially effort. Effort has 4 applications: to prevent unwholesome mind states, to break attachment to them when they rise. The third is to try to create new wholesome mind states. And the fourth is to sustain them. So whether we're being reactive in our renunciation or proactive in preventing situations where we need to break attachment, it takes a constant vigilance and effort that starts with a conscious awareness of our practice. That has to happen in every moment. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a grateful, maggot-free day above the dirt. Peace out.